Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today it's probably the third or the fourth week of quarantine and I'm spending mine, doing a whole bunch of work from home, but also trying to get some time for, to work on my Gundam models. And there's one video in particular because of the things that I was doing that I wanted to make. And this is a little bit of sharing my experience on adding LED lights into the Gundam models. And if you have one of the, newer models of Gundam, especially kind of like the RX-78 The Origin or the Jesta or some others, you see that one of the things that Gundam implemented was this Bandai LED unit. That is something that you can put inside your models. This one is actually not Bandai, it's a Chinese version, but it works pretty good and it's probably half the price, like $3 for it. It just takes time to get mail on to you. But that's not what I wanted to share. I want to share the experience on assembling or adding LED lights to older models or models that don't have that ability to actually use a LED light unit. So I want to give you a couple of tips of things that I have been working on, anything that might be useful for people who are starting working on their models or adding light to their models. And I'm going to start with my camphor and my first tip. My first tip has to do a lot with what I do on my channel. That is, this is why it's called Design Plus Hack. It's about, learning by doing and adapting things so we can solve issues. And I do it with Gundam, even though it's not the only thing that I'm planning to work on my channel, but this is one of the things that I enjoy doing. And with the camphor, basically my experience was that when I was assembling it and I decided to actually add light into the mono eye, one of the things that I started planning is that how do you make that happen? Because there's no, let me just turn it on, there's no a particular thing that you can use to add the light into this model in particular. It's an old one, so there's no LED unit to actually add there. So my experience was that I started like doing some testing on things, trying things out. I think that one of the best things that you can do when you're adding light is be creative and be flexible. Try options, face the issues that you're dealing with each one, and be patient and solve them. Because on this one, for example, I was trying to find a place to add the battery, and I realized that there's not a lot of places outside the model, and I definitely didn't want it like cables sticking out of the model, because when you put it on your shelf, having those cables might be something that it doesn't look as good as a model that stands on its own. So for this one, what I did is I was trying to get this, like this is the battery. This is a very common battery that is the CR2032. That is the button, or no, this one is the coin battery because of the size. It's kind of like the nickel size for those in US. And I was trying to find something to put it on, like this type of support, but I couldn't. And I searched online on Amazon, and they only deliver around 20 of them or something like that. And I was like, I don't want to waste that much in something I'm just testing. So I ended up going to a dollar store, buying one of those novelty spider things for Halloween, and open it up, and I get the battery, I get the support for it, for the battery, for the holder, a holder for the battery, and I got a LED light that I didn't use, but I also got a switch, right? So I got most of the components that I needed for my model inside a dollar novelty thing. What I did with that one is I cut the plastic support where the battery was being held, and I stick it inside the model, because one of the things with this one is that the chest is really large, so you can actually fit the battery in there, and I just wire it. And for the LED, and this is again being creative, I started looking and I found, and I think it was in Target or something, I found this LED lights for Christmas. I bought them and they were the exact same size as the mono eye. At the end, I ended up not using that And at the end, I ended, as you can see here, drilling a little hole on the top of a plastic piece and sticking it, the light inside that hole, so it actually goes into the mono eye. And it's something that's called a nano LED. I ordered those online on Amazon, and I got a whole bunch of them, kind of like 7 of them. It just took time because they were delivered from China. So that's option 1. But then one of the things, and this is the second tip that I can give you besides being creative and adaptive and flexible, is plan ahead. One of the things that I've been looking at is that, and this is something that I recently started looking, is I had to change the battery on my camphor, or reconnect it because it fell off, and opening the whole thing up, it's very complicated. So I started planning for my next models or my next projects that are basically this 3 that I have in here. That is this is the EC8, this is the the old one, and this is a master grade MG or GM Colony type thing. And this one here that you see just a piece of it is the old Alex, the 1.0. For those, one of the things that I have started planning is adding the batteries on a different place. So, in some place that you can actually replace. So I'm working with right now with the backpacks of these models, and I have found that most backpacks you can actually fit, not this one is a really large battery, but you can fit this ones, the button batteries. This is the, I think, LR044 or something like that. Oh, 41, LR41. And this one actually fits inside. It's used in pens and stuff that you have like with, or, LED pointers and stuff like that, laser pointers. So this one actually fits inside. So if I close in here, I can just put it there and it fits, right? And I'm planning on the connection between the backpack and the actual unit. And to give you an example of that, I'm going to show you what I'm doing right now with the Gundam Alex. And this one has a backpack that actually fits the, the same, you can actually fit the same batteries in there. So if I put it in here, you'll see maybe just one battery on each side, but there's plenty of space to actually put the battery there. So I'm planning on just getting one on each side, because these are 1.5 volts, while this one is 3 volts. So you actually have to have 2 to get the LEDs enough power. So with this one, I did something a little bit creative, and there's a third pointer or tip on that one, is stock up. Let me show you. I have a bag of connectors and things that I've been using, and switches and different LED units and stuff like that. This is something, and I don't have a lot of stuff here because I'm actually traveling. I'm not spending my quarantine in my apartment. So these are like different stuff that I've been stocking up. But if you can stock up with stuff, do it, because one of the things that we do a lot in design is that there's this idea of analogous thinking, that is that you see something and you're like, oh, this looks like something I can use for a different reason. So when I was working with the Alex, I realized that this is the support that it uses for the connecting into the body of the Gundam Alex. And I was like, oh, this could, when you look at it, it actually looks like a plug, like a connector. So I decided, and you can see already here, that I added 2 connection points. And the way that I did that is I use a mini drill, and I drill a couple of holes. That is a delicate procedure, but it's not super complicated. So I drill a couple of holes on the piece and a couple more to connect the cable. So that's something that I have to do after that. And then I took some of the metal connectors of the sets. I just took the plastic off, and I basically stick it inside this piece of plastic. And as you can see, it basically works as a plug, and it goes, let me just show you, it goes through the body. When you put it on the Alex, goes through the body of the Alex and through uh, polycap and goes inside. So now I needed to work on how do you connect this. So this polycap actually is supported by a piece of plastic on the other side of a chest. So what I did is I sliced the polycap that I had in here, so to make it shorter, because it's a little bit taller usually. You can see here maybe is sliced down so it has some space, and then I modified the other side. And as you can see in here, what I did is I used one of the old polycaps that I was, one of the remaining ones that you get always in your runners, and I added it actually fit. I tested and it fit perfectly on that side. So I just cut it. Let me show you how the piece was cut, so you can see. So I cut some groups on it. Let me show you. I cut some groups on it. Right, so it fit perfectly, and then I added a piece of polycap in between to separate the two sides. And in here, I use X-Acto knife, and I basically created some groups for the connector, and then I use this type of copper sheet that you can buy online or on like places for like electric stuff. And then I cut it to little pieces of it, strips of it, fold them, and put them inside. I guess you can see that. And now, if you put the polycap on top, basically what you get is a full connection. And let me show you just with this, in between the two parts. Right? I already tested, and it transmit the electricity, so it works. I have to still do the whole cable work or wiring for the inside. Okay, and this is something that is probably like my final advice is try to make it clean. All the work that you do, you want your models to look the best. So I have seen some people doing like some good stuff with some of the models, some update on like LED lights inside the models. But one of the things that I noticed is that some people are like really sloppy on like drilling holes and taking pieces off. That you should try to be as delicate with your model, and that's my perspective, as you can, and you can always find good solutions within the things that you can have. Let me show you a couple of different things that I've been doing. One thing is, this is the face of the Alex. I'm working with nano LED again. So one of the things with the nano LEDs is that the cables are really thin, so you can actually fit two inside the head with no issues. And in here, and let me show you, because that actually needs an example. On the figures, especially on the old ones, when you put a light on them, the light actually goes through the whole plastic, because the plastics are really thin, or used to be really thin. It does work, but I don't like this. So in the Alex, let me turn this off. In the Alex, I ended up doing something, and you will see how it changes. Let me turn it on again. In the Alex, I ended up doing something different, and as you can see, the light doesn't go through the plastic. And the reason why it doesn't go through the plastic, it's because on this one, I basically, let me just crack it open. And this one, what I did is I used a black vinyl marker, and I painted first on black to create a cover, and then I use a chrome marker, and I cover everything on chrome. So actually the light reflects inside and stays inside, and it doesn't go through the plastic. So again, by being creative, is try to find solutions that you can use with the stuff that you have around, and for sure you can find good solutions for every single issue that you're dealing with. And as you can see here, just show you. There you go. The light stays inside the head. Right? I still need to put out a second one for the camera. I'm going to show you just one more example of trying to find creative solutions, and this is something that's going to happen with the face of my GM colony type. And I started thinking, so I don't know if you have assembled that one, but it comes with two sets of faces. And then I started working with the first one, and then I realized that I could fit with the first face that comes with that model, that I could actually drill a hole on the face. I can get the LED inside the face or the head, and then I sliced a little bit of the runner with the green, with transparent green that actually comes with the model, and I just created filter or mono eye for the light, right? Let me just focus here, right? So what I did is this, and then it just fits perfectly, and I was like very happy with this. But then I realized that the actual face that you use in a model is not the same, it's different. And still I need to put the light in here, but one of the things that I found when I was, going through it is the size of a peg. This doesn't connect like the other one with groups. This actually connects with a peg. So I cannot do the same thing. I cannot drill through the whole thing. But then I found, and again, stock up with everything that you can find, as many LED lights that you can find, because as you can see here, I have all these different ones, different sizes, and different shapes and different colors that I work with, right? Including the nanolight, and I have also high intensity LED lights. But one of the things that I found is that this one that I got on a store, an electric store, actually is a cylinder, so, and has the exact same size as the peg. So this is actually going to go into the face. I'm going to replace this peg with the LED light and then drill in here, and then I'll have the light coming through the face of the colony type. Still have some issues to solve in all this, but I just wanted to share some of the solutions that I have found and some tips about like how to address this. I'm going to be uploading a couple of more videos regarding specifics on each one of these projects, on how to put the light on and do the wiring and stuff. But this is at least a first try for that. So thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay home, keep building GUNPLA. This is a good thing to do during the quarantine. And please, if you like the things that I'm doing, please comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much and have a great day.